One of the jewels of Rutgers head coach Steve Owens' mammoth 2022 recruiting class, Holy Spirit's Trevor Cohen is one of New Jersey's best all-around athletes, winning multiple state titles as a quarterback in football and one as a center fielder in baseball. Let's meet the talented South Jersey star as he's our guest on this episode of JBS Generation Next. Welcome back to Generation Next, our high school series, our look at the top high school prospects throughout the state of New Jersey. We've got one of South Jersey's finest, one of New Jersey's finest here in the class of 2022, and that's Holy Spirit outfielder / quarterback Trevor Cohen, soon to be pride of Rutgers University, and welcome. Thanks for coming on during busy football season.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's start the same way that we start with everybody, because it's a standard question, but everybody's journey is a little bit different. And, how did you get committed wise? How did you decide on Rutgers? And you're joining a pretty loaded class for next year too.
They saw me, it was my sophomore year summer at Future Games.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to a couple schools and I kept them in mind. They were in my top 5 the whole time. I was really thinking about them because it's close to home. You're playing in a great conference,
yep.
Competitive baseball. So it was really my top 5. And then I really thought about it, waited a little bit, and then decided to commit around late April to Rutgers. I don't regret the decision. I'm really happy about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Owens certainly has got that going in a great direction. You had other opportunities. Was there anything other than close to home and that stood out in your mind that made it a where you definitely want to go?
They're really competitive. I see on Instagram a lot that they're a gritty baseball team, and that's what I like. I like to compete. So, I mean, that sold me that they're going to compete every day. I love that stuff. So that's why I chose there.
You get to know some of the other guys that are in your class already. You got, like Max Martin, some of the other South Jersey guys too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I've seen Max at a bunch of showcases. I talk with the other commits, the 22 commits. So we're getting along pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like you got a chance to. I mean, it's been this year coming up will be 15 since the last time they were in the NCAA tournament. But at the same time, they're getting closer and closer every year. I mean, does it feel like you're kind of hitting it at the right time for it to sort of explode with really good Jersey guys and a lot of other guys too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our class is going to light it up. We have an insane class, so we're going to get there and we're going to compete and play big time baseball and get that place back to where they want to be. So I'm excited about that.
Yep. Now, probably most of the people watching here know you're quarterback for Holy Spirit's football team, going for your 3rd state title in high school, one of the best senior quarterbacks in the state. One of the things that people talk about you, the first thing they'll say is competitive. Great athlete, but also like ultra competitive too. I mean, was that something that's kind of always been the case? Do you think the football helps bring it out of you, or is that kind of like, you were always that way?
So I've always been that way, but football really brings all of it out. I mean, I give football all the credit for the competitiveness. I mean, when you play football, it's not many guys can say who play both, because there's not many, but you're a competitor no matter where you are, what you're doing. You compete and you want to win, whatever. If it's for a position, if it's a game, if it's anything, you want to compete for that. And football has really taught me that. And without that, I don't think I'd be the competitor I am.
And leadership wise, right? A quarterback on a championship contending team every year. are there lessons that you can kind of take, or things you can kind of take between the two sports as far as leadership, as far as competing at a championship level?
Oh yeah. It's taught me a lot of leadership. I mean, I started as a sophomore, so I really had to become a leader quick. So you learn how to be a leader. You learn how to, you know, show like not bad emotions toward your team to get them down. You really have to be positive no matter what happens. So I brought that into baseball. I love being a leader. That's my number one thing is be a leader.
All eyes on you, right? It's
Yeah.
that's goals that you have for baseball season. Right? We'll stick with that. But what are your goals for Holy Spirit baseball in 2022? And obviously South Jersey is one of the toughest areas to be good team wise in the country. Really, there's just so many good teams like right on top of each other.
Yeah. Win a championship. That's my number one thing. I just want to win. That's all I want to do.
Always is, right? We got 2 rings for football and 1 for baseball, right?
Yeah.
So the goal for this year is pretty much fill up the whole hand.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't look right with 3 or 4. We got to go for the full 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Ultimately, I guess, with somebody who is strong in 2 sports, right? There's some point along the way. There aren't many who do it in high school, but there's even fewer who do it in college, right? So what kind of went into your mind where baseball was the thing, right? Versus football. How did that ultimately kind of shake out?
Baseball's always been my number one. So I wasn't really getting recruited for football. I wasn't really interested in playing college football. But I mean, it would obviously be a great thing, but I wasn't really into it. So I wouldn't train like I would for baseball in the off season. I wouldn't put all that work in. So I would stick to baseball in the off season, and that's really my number one thing. So I'm going to stick with it through college. I mean, football is awesome, but I think high school is when I should cut it off.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention you got the opportunity to play in a Power 5 conference for baseball. As good as you were, as good as you've been at Holy Spirit, it probably not happening in football, right? Those
Yeah, it's a lot. It's too much.
yeah, and that's right. That's you can't at that level at the positions you play. It's just not possible to do both.
Nah, it's not.
Um, Favorite college football teams, though? I mean, I guess other than Rutgers, obviously.
Um, I like Oklahoma football. I mean, they're a good football team, and their backup quarterback. I saw him come in, lit it up. So they're a fun team to watch. Other than Rutgers, obviously.
Right, right. And we got to make sure that everybody knows that watching this too, right?
Yeah.
We're repping. We got the Rutgers shirt. I think you said you right. We're
Yeah.
repping that. Okay, good. We want to make sure that gets out there.
Yeah.
Growing up, I mean, obviously, probably in other sports, probably football, basketball, you still, and not so much baseball because it's not on as much, but Big Ten is on, all the time. Has it, how do you feel knowing that you're going to be a Big Ten athlete in a couple months and, get to do it close to home?
I mean, I'm psyched about it. I'm really excited to get there and start playing. And it's a blessing that I could play there close to home, maybe less than 2 hours from home. My family gets to see me play. I get to play in Jersey, my hometown. So it's awesome.
Mean extra to do it with a lot of New Jersey guys playing here in New Jersey, and you played all over the country in travel tournaments. Is it something like, the Northeast sometimes gets a bad rep, but something about like the guys here that stand out a little bit even on a national stage?
Yeah, that's what I love about Rutgers is they're looking to recruit Jersey guys. They're looking to stay within the state and find competitors that are going to play for them from New Jersey and that take pride in playing baseball in New Jersey. That's what I really love about them.
And a little bit of toughness, I think, right?
Yeah.
You've seen guys from the South and played, against those guys, but there's, growing up in a colder weather area and, you got to fight a little bit more, right? It's not is there a Jersey baseball has a little bit of toughness, I think, that other states maybe don't have.
Yeah, a lot. And I love that toughness. Playing in the cold, all that. It's just toughness.
So once football ends, and we hope that's like mid-December, pretty much, right? That's kind of how long, I guess
Probably early December. Yeah, it's a state championship.
First week of December, we get ring number 4.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's right. What is from there? And I know then you are a Big Ten baseball. You're a high school baseball player, but you're it's all baseball at that point. What are the areas where you want to focus on improving this offseason to not only have the kind of senior year you want, but also to get yourself ready to play college baseball in a power conference?
Mostly everything. I'm going to really break down my swing and my mechanics during the winter and try and fix all my flaws for that upcoming season. I mean, arm strength, speed, everything I'm going to try and get better at. But I'm really going to focus on hitting mechanics mostly to try and get that to where I want it to be for my senior season and then for college.
Definitely. Yeah. No, your proudest moment on the field?
Probably win the state championship, honestly, because we came so close my freshman year. Sophomore year, COVID hit. We didn't have a season. So there was a lot of stuff building up into that season. And we got a couple transfers, couple Division I transfers. So we looked really good. Our whole outfield was Division I. So we really needed to win that, and we did. So that was probably my proudest moment, is winning that and finally saying we won in baseball, because Spirit hasn't won in a while. So being on that team is special.
And it's so tough too. There's so many good teams you got to go through to get there.
Oh yeah.
What are we looking at? Give us a little advanced scouting for 2022. What are we looking at for our repeat season, other than you, obviously?
We lost a lot of guys. We were very senior heavy last year. So we're gonna have to get the younger guys in. It's next man up mentality at Holy Spirit. We're not really much of a building, like, oh, we're going to build this team. We're just next man up. We expect you to do better than the last guy and win a championship. There's high expectations for everyone. And
there's another place where your football experiences help, right? That next man up philosophy, right?
Always. Yeah. It's next man up. It's not, let's take a year off and find guys. It's just next man up. I expect you to do the job. And we're going to keep going with who we have.
We don't know what's in store in the future, right? I mean, this is your future is this year,
It's my last year.
Yeah. Anybody we should be keeping our eye on Holy Spirit this year that maybe wasn't required to take such a big spot, last season, obviously with so many seniors, but kind of that next wave that's going to be counted on, because, they say if you're not ready, in Jersey and non-public baseball, you're going to get beat. So who are we counting on, or who are we looking towards that hasn't had that role yet?
There's an upcoming freshman. He's a freshman now. He's a pitcher, Jake Logic. We have no pitchers, so we're really going to count on him as a freshman to do a lot more than he expects he should be doing. So we have a lot of faith in him. So we're going to throw him a lot. There's a senior, Ryan Spina, who's really under recruited. He's a good hitter, third baseman. He started last year as third base as a junior, me and him. He's a good player. He's tough. He plays ball. He's a competitor. So we're really going to count on him and that freshman pitcher, because we're low on pitching.
Who's had you don't get much downtime, which I have the feeling you kind of like that.
Yeah.
But who's had maybe the biggest impact outside of the family, on your baseball career?
Um, I'd say BPC, the guys there. I mean, they got me in. They've done everything recruiting wise, sending me to all these showcases, getting me invited, all that stuff. I give them a lot of the credit. I go into Ed, the hitting guy there. I don't like this part of my swing, or I feel uncomfortable. Boom, changes it right away. I'm swinging the bat how I want to. So he's really good with that stuff. So I trust him with all that. I'll come in, and I haven't been in a lot because of football, but once football ends, I'll get in there and start training full time again.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned BPC and Ed Charlton, because so many guys we've talked to this week and last week mentioned BPC, but they're pitchers. So Mike gets his obviously, and
Yeah.
everybody knows the Mike Adams story, but certainly Mike and Jay Gorman get a lot of attention. But talk to us about the work that Ed does, and some of the other guys there as far as hitting. Let's give them some love and attention too.
Yeah, Ed's awesome. Him and Matt Rowland do a great job with the hitting guys, the young guys, the college guys. That place is just the energy there every day is just unmatched. So I wouldn't want to train anywhere else.
Yeah, no, it's a special place, and it's really cool to have it so close to where you are down there.
Exactly, 15 minutes from my house. So
yeah. If you could be D1 in any sport other than baseball, and football might be the easy answer, so let's take football out of it too. What would we be D1 in any sport? Up to you, but what would we want to be?
basketball.
Any reason?
Nah, just fun to watch. College basketball is fun to watch.
Yeah,
So it'd be cool to be a part of that.
everything's kind of all tight, and you got the band, and it's just, there's an energy to it that, like,
Oh yeah,
you
the
watch
gyms.
NBA. The NBA game might be better, but it doesn't have the same energy all the time.
No, college sports have a much more energy, I'd say, and they're really fun to watch. All college sports.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, obviously we talked about Rutgers baseball really ready to make that next kind of jump up, but with Coach Shiano there, the football weekends are about to be a little bit more fun than they've been in a long time too.
Oh yeah,
Pretty cool to get in that environment with Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, coming in, not every year, but every other year that you're playing those guys, and it's got to be a good time for that too.
oh yeah. The stadium. I'm seeing videos on Instagram. They pack that place, and it
Yep.
just looks insane.
Yeah, yeah, it's like the right size. It's not like 110,000 or anything, but it's like the right size for Rutgers. Get
Yeah, and I played there too. I played there my sophomore year for the state championship. It's a big stadium.
Yeah, you get 60,000 screaming Jersey guys in there. It's loud.
Yeah, it's really loud. And we didn't have a lot of people. It was a high school football game, but we had a good amount. It was loud there.
Yeah, and you can imagine what it's like. You can probably think about it. Penn State comes in, it's packed, right?
Oh yeah.
Things like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. Your pregame playlist: football versus baseball, or is it the same list?
Football is kind of
I hope it's not the same list. That'd be crazy.
nah. It's not. It's harder stuff. Football is mostly Meek Mill. I'll play that before a game. Baseball's kind of start chill music. Now, I really don't listen to music before baseball. I'm kind of just relaxed. Football,
Yeah.
I get myself, like ready and all pumped up. That's when I'm usually listening to music before a football game. Baseball, I don't really need it, but
No.
I just bring the energy right away.
Yeah, so you got it inside you anyway, but you get like that for a 2.5 hour, 7 inning baseball game, sitting out in the outfield for like,
Yeah.
90% of the game. Just like, I don't know that would work.
Yeah, I could do it for football because the stadium, I mean, the people, you're playing a lot more than you're moving a lot more than baseball you would.
And it's like a once a week thing, it's like you spend all
Yeah,
week
Friday nights.
hyped up for it, and Friday nights versus you can't, you get 4 or 5 baseball games a week.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna miss most about football is just Friday nights. But baseball is nothing like playing at night. Nothing like it.
Yeah. Yeah, you get those Friday night Big Ten games on the road even, and it still is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Um, Pregame or necessary game day meal.
Before football, I go to Chick-fil-A, so I'll get out of school. Depending on what time I get out, I go to Chick-fil-A before the game, eat that, and then get ready for the game. Go to all my meetings and all that. Get ready, and then I'm good to play. I don't really eat too much. I'll just have a 12 count nugget meal and then a drink. No soda or anything. I'll just maybe have a water, and I'm ready to play. Baseball, I'll do the same if I got time to go before the games because the games are earlier in
It's
baseball.
early,
They're
yeah,
4 o'clock.
for
So if I
sure.
can get something to eat, I will. If not, then I'm good.
Favorite pro team, regardless of sport.
Eagles, Philly,
Good,
everything.
good. We
Yeah.
can actually run this interview now if you would have.
Yeah. I'm a
Don't be
big
giving me
Philly
any New
fan.
York garbage, right? You're not from,
No,
not,
no, no.
and you're Philly territory down there too. So that's
Yeah, I love Phillies games. I love Eagles games, all that. Philly sports is great.
agreed. See, you are now my favorite person that I've done these interviews with. I think you're the first been that definite. Um, Look back at you're a couple months from graduation. If you had to look back and tell 14, 15-year-old Trevor something, eighth, ninth grade, the journey is kind of beginning on the high school years. What would be the one thing that you would tell yourself that you've learned kind of the last few years that you wish you would have known when you started out in high school?
Soak it all in. Um, I got in freshman year and I was like, oh, I can't wait to do this when I'm a senior. I can't wait to do this when I'm a junior. But now I miss, just coming into high school and meeting new people and all that. It's really just soak it all in and don't take all that stuff for granted. I mean, high school is the best 4 years of my life so far. I've had so much fun with sports, meeting new people. So it's really just soak that in and don't take that stuff for granted because you kind of tend to when you're always looking forward, like, oh, I can't wait to play my senior year of baseball. I can't wait to play my junior year of football. People tend to do that. And my advice is really just not to do that and take every day and every practice, every game, every bus ride, all that. Don't take it for granted.
Yeah. What age you want to be? You want to be the age that you are right now. It's the best one, right? It's,
Exactly.
live in the moment. I love it. That's great. That's great advice for more than just 14-year-old Trevor, right? That's I
Yeah.
kind of wish everybody would do that and not just high school either.
Yeah.
Much appreciated, Trevor Cohen, star quarterback, Holy Spirit. We get past this football thing soon enough. Star center fielder, one of the top players in New Jersey. We're happy to and honored to have you with us here, and look forward to seeing you this spring and beyond, and a couple of years at Rutgers, and let's see where that goes down the road.
Yeah. Can't wait.